recognize bowing, but we don't know why they bow. Sometimes we say, okay, they're bowing with respect. See Chinese people, they bow, Japanese, they bow, Hindus bow. But most of the time, there's something called mental bowing also. But why do we bow? Why should we bow anyway? And most people say out of respect. But really, the reason why you bow is because you want to receive the blessings. Because if you hold your head high to your teacher will not be able to teach you. If you feel that you know already everything, can't teach you anything more. If you have an ego and you are proud and you feel you're better than the other person, you cannot receive any knowledge either. And the reason why we bow is because we want to receive the knowledge. Right? And so in Hinduism we touch the feet. The reason why we touch the feet is because just like a battery, the second battery touches the feet of the first battery, and that's how the current is completed. And so we receive the knowledge of the person who we are bowing to. So bowing is very important. And so when we meditate, what we are asking, we're really bowing. We're mentally bowing. And why are you mentally bowing? Because you're meditating because you want the universe to give you what you want, give you knowledge, give you peace of mind. So meditation is a form of bowing, mentally. And so when you bow, you receive. And when you meditate, what you're doing is you're asking the universe to connect with you in harmony. And so what happens now is that in meditation, nobody really can clear their mind. That's impossible. You can't really clear your mind. But you can connect your thoughts to the universe and connect your thoughts to helping yourself solve the problems. In our meditation, we should always think about how we're going to solve our problems. And at the same time, concentrate on those forces that are important. So we see many idols here, many statues and many pictures. And each one of these is used for meditation. The one of Lakshmi, for example, is meditation on wealth. So when you are sitting in front of that one and you're meditating, you're thinking about fixing your wealth, fixing your money problem, financial problem, things like that. Shiva here represents the perfect husband, but also represents the perfect time in your life. Balanced time. He's known as the Lord of Time. And we always seem to have a problem with time. We all have a problem with time. Time not to do this, time to do this, time to, we don't have time, we don't have time for this. I mean, and then, if you don't do the time, all of these things will happen. So Shiva, when you concentrate on meditating on Shiva, you're asking for the time, because time is one of the most precious things in your life. And then also there's Saraswati, which is the one over there with the instrument, and she represents knowledge. So if you are meditating on her, you are asking for knowledge. You're asking for universal knowledge, all knowledge of everything. But it's knowledge that keeps us going to see an advisor. It's not lack of knowledge that keeps us going to see a teacher, right? If someone knows about health, he's a doctor, and so he advises you knowledge of how to help your health. If someone is a mechanic, he tells you how to fix your car. Or if he's a guru, he teaches you about God, and so on. So each type of knowledge we have is, when we're concentrating on Saraswati, we want to get knowledge so that we don't have to keep running to the teacher. We already will learn the knowledge and we'll be able to know it. So that's why we write books. When you read a book, the book is really a guru. That book is a teacher. That book now, the author of that book, but how many of us even pay attention to the author? Because the author is very important. Because you're now going to learn all his knowledge. And so that's why we worship book. You see, the Hindus, they worship the Vedas, the whole world worships the Bible. It's all a book. And the Punjabis worship a book and so on. Muslims worship a book, or the Quran. So the book has a lot of value to it. So the book is a form of meditation also. Then you will have to ask that author permission. So when we meditate, we have to think about what kind of meditation we are. Here in the Hindu Learning Center, we do what we call prana meditation. Our meditation concerns how you breathe. Because it seems like everything we have, every health problem we have, everything we have to do in our life has to do with the life force, which is called breath. So it's important that you control your breathing, the way you breathe, because your breathing controls your brain, controls your heart, controls all the parts of the body that work according to the air. So lack of air will make all of those stop work. So if you had a choice between one of the most important elements of all, it would be air, would have to be the first choice. And so it's called prana, which is called life force. As we say, we have a hard time getting people to believe. And the reason why is because the world has been set in such a way that people have been trained from young to believe certain things. For example, it's very hard to tell somebody that a doctor cannot cure them. You try to do that today, you're going to get into big trouble. Right? Meanwhile, the doctor himself probably doesn't know what's wrong with you. The doctor himself doesn't know what's going on with your life. And he probably doesn't. Most of the time people end up in the hospital, the doctor doesn't know what's on. We have to do a test. We have to do another test. We have to do another test. And so the doctor keep testing. Meanwhile, you keep losing blood, you keep getting worse. You're suffering, but I don't know what to do. And then somebody else comes along and says, well, I took some herbs and I didn't have no problem. Same sickness. So it's because people are so close-minded, it's hard to get them to believe. What's worse? The husband doesn't believe the wife sometimes. Neither does the wife believe the husband. And the husband believes the wife, and the husband doesn't believe the husband, and then they have a problem. The biggest problem we have in helping people is usually the guys are very skeptical. The wife is the one who always comes. And she is the one who makes all the changes. Because the women have a lot of power. So as we go into this new century, it's 2012, more and more we need the woman to change. Why? Because everybody listens to a woman. Women get listened to. Right? In other words, if two guys are fighting, and you send another guy to stop it, he gets beaten up. But if you send another woman, she's able to stop it. They wouldn't beat the woman. Because they'll listen. Because we all come from the mother. So we have an instinct in us, that we will listen to the mother. We will listen to the female more. Because none of us come without mother. And so in this new century, the female are the ones who are going to be predominant. They are going to be able to change the society of what's going to happen to people. So when the female has taken control of everything, when the female has gotten more attention and knows more knowledge and everything, because that's what happens if there's a lack of knowledge. in the female population, of course, because why? Why? It's because of men. Because in the old Renaissance, when the Catholic Church came, all the women were dressed in black, they were nuns, and the men were the ones who were in the knowledge, in the limelight. So women were kept down in the old age. So women were always not given the knowledge. And so what happens now in the new century, women are getting more and more connected with the knowledge. And so you'll find more people will listen that way. Now we have been trained also to, like the doctor, like we would not believe that the doctor doesn't cure you. We always think the doctor can cure you. We are trained that way. So when you tell somebody, well, you know, you need to go see the Swami, or Ramcharran, or Angela. No, I don't believe in that. But what does he believe in? He doesn't believe that someone else can cure beside a doctor. So we have been brainwashed into this. We have been brainwashed into this whole thing. Now in India, if you happen to go to India and you go to look at a doctor's office, the medical office, they're empty. There's no lines. Guess where the lines are? In the herbal offices, Ayurvedic. The same way the doctor's offices are crowded here, the herbal offices are crowded here. And the same way the herbal person's office is empty here, the doctor's office are empty here. Totally opposite. And over there, the doctors, you know, they make house calls because that's how they make their money, so they have to come to the house. You don't have to go to the office also. So, such a big difference. All because we don't believe each other.